Hello summoners and welcome back to another ProGuides video. My name's Saskia and today we'll be discussing counter picks to OP champs in 10.21. We'll be going over the ruins, builds, and playstyles to effectively counter specific matchups. So the next time you run into one of these characters, you will have an easy time playing through the game. For our question of the day, what champion do you feel like has absolutely no counters? Personally, I feel like Gangplank doesn't have any top lane counters and is often picked to absorb enemy pressure. Let us know what you think in the comments below and I look forward to seeing what you have to come up with. Before we get started, make sure to visit ProGuides.com and try out our VOD review coaching system. There, you'll be able to send in a VOD and get a fully detailed report that you can watch at any time. We also have live group classes from Zyrene, Mike Young, Saskia, and King Nidhogg, so make sure to take advantage of these great opportunities and join the community. With that being said, let's jump straight into the video. Fiora is a strong dueler, making its way into the top lane in both solo queue and occasionally competitive play. Our counter will be Gangplank, who has strong sustain and skirmishing abilities. This matchup will take a bit of learning, but your main objective is to slowly poke Fiora with grass procs while trying to discourage her from going in by placing barrels to zone. If Fiora ever goes in, immediately break your barrel and kite away, and reassess the situation before going back in to continue poking. Your build will consist of Corrupting Potion, Jhin into Trinity Force, Executioner's Calling, Ninja Tabi, Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, Sterix Gauge, or Liandry's to finish out. Again, we're going to repeat the steps in order to win this matchup in the early laning phase. Look to poke Fiora down with grass procs. With Q, place your barrel and shoot it when Fiora goes in, allowing you to proc your passive on Fiora and gain movement speed necessary to kite. Repeat this process over and over until you can use your priority to make a play happen mid, or simply hold Fiora in the lane, allowing you to ult another lane. During the mid to late game, you should have the tools to disengage Fiora if she ever tries to all-in, so make sure to abuse your passive and kite as hard as you can. Our next counterpick for top lane is going to be Kayle into Shen. While Kayle is a character that literally loses to every single champion early on, your ability to survive and reach 6 specifically against Shen gives you the opportunity to scale. Let Shen push you in and avoid getting taunted while catching CS where you can with your E and Q. If you ever notice yourself potentially entering Shen range, immediately use W and try to outrun or juke the taunt so you don't get into a fight. Look to build Corrupting Potion, Gunblade, Berserker Greaves, Nashor's Tooth, Rageblade, Zhonya's, and end out with Rabadon's. Think of yourself as a Kassadin player, but just in the top lane. Do everything you possibly can to stay alive and reach level 16 by side laning and hitting your 3-item power spike. During the side laning adventures, if you notice that everybody is topside and you are level 11, don't be afraid to test the waters and fight Shen to see if you can beat him, since you can completely kite and chase him. The jungle position is making an interesting shift with these champions finding more play. Hecarim and Karthus have been taking over the rift, so we got a couple hot picks for you. Huge disclaimer for jungle. Jungle is all about lane priority. This assumes both junglers are inside a vacuum fighting each other. Hecarim still continues to dominate the rift, and very few picks seem to beat it. The counter today we have for you is a pick we haven't seen recently, which is Jarvan the 4th. J4 has the tools to 1v1 Hecarim, and the greatest part of all, the ability to slow the pony. J4 has a built-in slow in his W active, which slows all nearby enemies for 2 seconds, so if you ever see a Hecarim coming in at full speed, slam that ability and watch Hecarim lose all his burst damage. Aside from building full AD, which you can, look to grab Cinderhulk Red, Merc Treads, Black Cleaver, Stoneplate, Randuin's for an extra slow, and end your build out with the Warmogs. Your champion shuts down Hecarim at any stage of the game as long as you slow him, so do not be afraid to fight, especially when you have priority. During teamfights, try to peel back and trap the Hecarim after he has ulted. Just make sure not to trap your carries with them inside your cage. With that being said, make sure to check out ProGuides.com where you can get a challenger to your coach to elevate your Jarvan gameplay to the next level. When dealing with Karthus, you want a champion that can get up close and personal to DPS the pesky mage. Nidalee has this at all stages of the game, so you'll never lose if you find Karthus. While it may seem counterintuitive to dive into a Karthus, we figure the only time you ever want to go in is if you land a spear, so make sure that condition has been met before fighting. From there, at any stage of the game, if you ever find Karthus alone, feel free to dive in because you completely out DPS him in short trades, usually killing him as a result. For your build, look to grab Red Runic Echoes, Ionian Boots, Rod of Ages, Lichbane, Zhonya's for Karthus ult, and Rabadon's. This matchup is an easy one once you played a couple times, so here are a couple tips to take down the Death Singer. Try to invade Karthus' camps early on, usually on the side where you have priority. If you find him, fight him. Otherwise, steal the camp and simply walk away. Feel free to swap between Lichbane and Zhonya's, since sometimes buying the Zhonya's for the stopwatch effect first could prove to be more useful against the Karthus in order to dodge his ultimate. Countering Zed and Galio. Zed is tough to deal with because of his ability to snowball and assassinate squishy targets at all stages of the game. Taking Rumble mid will completely shut down anything Zed wants to do. Your ability to control the lane and shield all of his damage will give you constant pressure, allowing you to help your jungler. On top of that, if Zed ever jumps in, immediately overheat and start autoing him to death. Your build starts with Dorn's Ring, yeah, we said it, a Dorn's Ring, into Ninja Tabi, Oblivion Orb, Zhonya's, Liandry's, Rabadon's, and end out with the Void Staff. Abuse your ability to burn down the ninja and continue sustaining with your Taste of Blood. We pointed out earlier that you want to overheat if Zed ever jumps in, so make sure you are constantly hovering around the 40 to 60 range so that you can spam your abilities and get that short power spike when your autos do tons of damage. Otherwise, help your jungler gain leads with invades and land those crazy rumble ultimates during the mid game. Galio is a champion we are starting to see more play recently because of his tankiness and his ability to burst squishy targets. Vayne is a champion designed to completely dodge everything Galio can do while outscaling him. Look to CS and poke Galio where he oversteps on the wave. Save your tumble for Galio when he decides to try to engage. If you ever make a mistake by overstepping, simply condemn the Galio back and laugh as he continues to be useless throughout the laning phase. Look to build Blade of the Rune King, Berserker Greaves, Rageblade, Phantom Dancer, Mercurial Scimitar, and Death Dance. Vayne is a niche mid laner and is rarely picked except into this matchup, so here are a couple tips to win the matchup. Identify when you can turn on Galio and abuse your passive to run him down after he fails to engage on you. This will allow you to punish his mistakes and make the laning phase easier for you to continue scaling. Don't be afraid to start side laning when your bot lane takes mid, since you can outplay a lot of 1v2 situations by dodging Galio's engage and kiting like a beast. Worst case scenario, just make sure to scale up to a Quicksilver Sash where you can escape any CC you may get hit by. Countering Samira and Jhin. Similar to the jungle, there's a huge disclaimer. AD carries will never run at each other and fight in a 1v1. The point of these counter picks is to find opportunities to win small trades and build up advantages, eventually leading to an outscale opportunity. A lot of AD carry matchups are heavily influenced by the supports, since supports dictate the pace of bottom lane. Let's be real. Samira is broken and has solidified herself as a staple pick in the bottom lane, similar to when Aphelios was released. She excels with crowd control characters and seems way too slippery to deal with. In order to match Samira, this week we are going with Senna. You are able to outrange Samira and farm her for souls very easily. Look to build Manamune, Boots of Swiftness, Edge of Night, Rapid Fire Cannon, Duskblade, and end out with any Last Whisper. A small interaction you can abuse is your ability to auto-attack Samira through her W, since your auto-attacks are not a projectile, so take advantage of this to get in free damage. Keep your teammates alive with your Q and ultimate during teamfights and kite accordingly to be more useful than Samira. Again, worst case scenario, just look to play slowly and reach critical mass at 60 or 80 stacks where teamfighting becomes a lot easier to execute. Jhin is a character that has many projectiles and does not have any dashes. While Yasuo isn't a traditional bot lane character, if you pair him up with Alistar or Leona, it can prove very deadly for any immobile champions. If Jhin ever walks up, gap close through minions and start fighting him with your support. You should always win because Jhin has a lot of trouble dealing with characters that can get up close and personal. Look to build Berserker Greaves, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, Death Dance, Sterix Gauge, and Guardian Angel. Even if the early game never goes as planned because of maybe jungle ganks or support matchup, you will always be more useful than Jhin in teamfights by simply win-walling his abilities and outputting more DPS with Conquer. We here at ProGuides strive for the O10 Yasuo power spike in the mid game to carry. Wait, just joking, don't do that. Countering Lulu and Blitzcrank. Just keep in mind, support counter picks do not imply you'll be 1v1ing your opponent to the death, but rather how they interact and what counter matchups can do to shut down the opponent. To beat Lulu, you want a support who can outrange and engage onto her. Zyra offers all these tools by spawning plants that will zone Lulu from walking up and even potentially rooting when she can't do anything about it. Slowly harass Lulu and control brushes to stop her from walking up since she won't be able to contest your damage. Look to build Spell Thieves, Sorkshoes, Liandry's, Rylai's, Zhonya's, and end out with the Rabadons. This matchup is very straightforward since you can easily control the brushes for lane control. Our biggest advice is to play similarly to a mage in the teamfights and zone opponents from entering areas with the potential threat of your root into ultimate. Look to pick Taric into Blitzcrank for the laning phase. Blitzcrank is very one-dimensional in what he wants to do, so regardless of whoever gets hooked, you'll be able to immediately stun. If you ever get hooked, make sure to stun and constantly output your DPS by auto-attacking and spamming Q on repeat so you can win the trade. Look to build Relic Shield, Zeke's Convergence, Ninja Tabi, Knight's Vow, and Redemption. During the later game, if you or your teammates is about to get hooked, make sure to ult and give them the invulnerability as they are flying into the enemy team. This will make it very easy for your teammates to engage off of what seems to be an advantage for the enemy team. That concludes our latest episode of Counterpicks in 10.21. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to join our Discord below where we do tons of coaching giveaways and community events. Lastly, don't forget to visit our website at ProGuides.com where you can receive coaching from pro players, watch live classes, and improve with courses from pro players. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck on the Rift.